Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are showing off the tier 7 French battleship, the Lyon. And yeah, I know, we're in the ugly yellow scheme back to school. I hate this camo, but I'm trying to get it used up, and it does give you some good benefits. Let's go ahead and take a look at the teams. We are playing on two brothers. Yes, once again, two brothers. That's just kind of how it happened. We are in a tier 9 match. We have a FDG, Alabama, Gascan, essentially. Lyon, Baltimore, New Orleans, Mogami, York, Stores, Kagero, Mahan, and Akatsuki. The enemy team, they're Alsace, Alabama, Key, Colorado, Lyon, Donskoy, New Orleans, Hipper, Algeria, Kagero, Harikaze, and Asems. Yeah, okay, so let's actually talk about the ship. I actually like the ship. I don't mind her. If you play the Normandy, you'll know how to play the Lyon. There's actually not that much difference between the Lyon and the Normandy. Probably, obviously, the one major difference is the fact that she does have one additional turret, which does give her the largest amount of shells in the game at this time of being. So, yeah, you have a very strong broadside. Dispersion is always a bit wonky, as you will see when we begin opening up. Shells kind of go every which way, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so the reason why I picked this battle was essentially the very beginning was awesome. It's just really does display how well Lyon's guns, with its huge massive amount of broadside firepower, can pretty much wreck a other captain's day. Now, starting off, obviously we are in a tier 9 battle, and this is going to be interesting because the Lyon does have issues with higher tier battleships. Since she is essentially using the same guns as the Normandy, you're still gonna have issues even doing citadels against same tier battleships, as not even to mention higher tier battleships. So just keep that in mind whenever you're playing it. Your favorite choice of prey is going to be cruisers, like this poor little Donskoy. Kind of keep an eye on him. He's going to hate us here in a moment. One major downside of the Lyon, as you can see right now, you have to show a lot of broadside just to get all these shells off, and RNG was very kind to us in this shot. Oh, triple citadel, first blood, devastating strike. Yeah, very first salvo, and we get one kill with the Donskoy. Very nice. All right, so now you might be wondering, what's he talking about? The dispersion being wonky. It looked pretty good there. Yes, it looked amazing there. But you're always gonna notice that time that the dispersion just goes a bit wonky. It's hard to tell with the Lyons, because she does have 16 shells that she's firing downrange at time. So it's always going to appear like it's very tight, but if you fire one gun at a time, as you will see later on, not so much. But once again, Lyon does have a lot of issues with getting her very powerful broadside in play, because she does have to show a lot of broadside. As you can see, I am being cautious. I am using this island to my advantage. The shell arcs are decent enough to get over this island without any incidents. So we're gonna camp this just for a little bit. Now, we are ahead. We have lost our battleship already, lost our gas can, and we have just lost our shores. And as you can guess, this side is going to have a lot of difficulty in the few moments that we're on this side. Now, our destroyer, as I'm looking at this Algeria, our destroyer obviously is not the best suited against other destroyers, so he's kind of keeping his distance. Algeria, yeah, Algeria probably should have been more careful. Look at that triple citadel. Another devastating strike, and that is kill number 2. Once again, the reason why I picked this battle was essentially that. I found it hilarious being able to get 2 devastating strikes within, I think, the 3rd salvo that we played or fired, something like that. But as you can see, we're having a bit of issue with this LCS. That is the tier 9, and I know I'm mispronouncing it, and I do apologize. I will try to get better at it. He is going to be a major problem. The tier 9 French battleship is actually a really good battleship, just due to the fact that is actually very similar to the Iowa in a lot of ways. Has the similar setup, but it's also very, very fast for her tier. She does have the engine boost, which does allow her to zip around a lot quicker and get in better positions. But at the exact same time, we are also having issues with destroyers, and there are 2 destroyers on our side. There is a Sims, and there is a Hakaym. Now I am obviously playing it cautiously. Don't think there's very much I can do against that tier 9 French battleship, but I can at least try to do some damage against the Sims. I thought he might actually turn a little bit more broadside and shells go every which way. Now, at the moment, we're doing okay, but you can see our cruisers are actually very low on health. New Orleans is very close to dying. And we're going to start losing support. Yeah, we're going to lose our New Orleans here in just a moment from the Hakaym. So it is probably going to be a very wise idea to actually start retreating and getting out of this position. Because our eastern side is actually, well, I don't want to say they're doing a really good job. They're being held up by 2 battleships. Actually, I think there's a battleship and 3 battleships. Okay, there are 3 battleships. There is the Colorado, Alabama, and Key over there. But they're doing really good holding up our friendly team that they're not able to push around and offer additional assistance. Once again, not in a good position at the moment. We are currently being spotted by destroyers, and we do know there might be a possible cruiser coming down the central channel. That is going to be the Hipper. He was spotted for a second, but we'll see him in just a moment. So right now all I'm trying to do is actually get reversed. Yes, not the quickest way to get out of this situation, but it's definitely the safest, especially against from that tier 9. Definitely don't want to show a lot of broadside. So I'm going to try to reverse around this island. Islands are very nice to actually have, just due to the fact that they protect you from torpedoes. So, yeah. Alright, so I know it's very slow right now. We do see that the enemy Hipper's actually starting to come down that channel. We do have a Megami, but this Megami, yeah, just watch how quickly he goes down. Now the Hipper is, I would say it's actually a far superior ship, especially in close quarters as it is kind of right now. But the Megami is making it really easy on him. The Megami is trying to reverse. I think he's also trying to get his torpedoes away. But that is a Hipper, and a Hipper does have Hydro. So, yeah, I don't think any surprises are going to occur for that Hipper. Alright. Finally into a position where I think we're semi-capable on being able to pull away. There's still the tier 9 there, but I think we're going to have to risk showing broadside just to get turned away as quickly as possible. Can we get pulled away? And it looks like the friendly team finally takes out the key. And it looks like the enemy destroyers were trying to drop torpedoes on us. But I think we're able to get away fairly easily. And okay, we have just lost our York, and now that's all that's left on this side is the Aka and myself. But it's probably a wise idea to actually try to pull away as quickly as possible. Aka, I don't think, is going to have much luck in really defeating against a Sims, but then again, there are those torpedoes that just took out the enemy Sims. And ouch. Not a citadel, fortunately, but still pretty damning as well. So yeah, definitely a good time to actually start pulling away. We do have our Baltimore coming in to help save us. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this Baltimore does. Baltimore, honestly, I would, you know, think he would be somewhat capable, especially taking out that broadside New Orleans, which I am trying to actually get at least a citadel, but unfortunately not having the best of luck. And our Megami, I think, is still alive. He's still kicking. But now the Baltimore decides to go broadside to the Hipper. This Hipper is actually doing a really good job. He's smart. He's actually not pulling out. And he's not showing broadside. So, good job on the enemy Hipper. But yeah, we're still running away. Megami's low on health. Now he's going to be in range of that tier 9, the Alsace. Yikes. Yeah, there goes another cruiser. Hipper is very low in health, but once again, the Baltimore is presenting a fairly flat broadside to this Hipper. And Hipper is definitely, well, doing work. Now here is why I was saying that this version is a bit wonky. Oh, good lord. Look at that. 4k health. And yes, we got on the bow and missed him completely. And there goes our Baltimore. Oh, I will have to give props to this captain in the LCS. He actually did a really good job for his team. He, I believe, actually had either Kraken. I believe he is either going to get Kraken in this battle, or he's going to be very close to Kraken. Obviously, we are currently being chased by the enemy destroyers and trying to finish off this New Orleans. He's so low in health. Trying to help out our friendly destroyer, who probably should really be using his guns to finish off the New Orleans, because the Aka actually has enough health to actually survive a salvo from that New Orleans. But yeah. Alright, Colorado. Don't know why he's giving our Warships over here so much issue, but he's actually doing a really good job by forcing our team to focus him down before being able to switch attention to the LCS. Enemy team is now ahead in cap points, and we have just lost our Kagero. How did we lose our Kagero? I do not know. But it's actually a very close game, and once again, high props, because he just earned Kraken. High props to this captain. Doing a really good job in that tier 9. We have just lost our Aka to the very low health New Orleans. I don't know if he actually fired. Now, I did switch over to HE. I would recommend it. Especially the Lyon trying to get shots off and doing damage against a tier 9 that's bow in. Not gonna happen with AP. And just because I slowed up, torpedoes show up, and I actually take a torpedo from the enemy Harikaze. Alright, so good news is the New Orleans went down. Bad news is that we are behind in caps. Enemy team is actually starting to catch up on points. And I guess the other good news is that we are actually ahead in ships. We do have a Mahan who's actually very full health. I don't think he actually got hit, maybe for a few moments. Decent health Alabama and half health FDG. So things are going decently well. Now, question is, we know where the destroyer is. Obviously, the destroyer is at the A cap or B cap. Where's the Hipper? Now, we know the Hipper was going up through the channel, and he was harassing our cruisers that were going across. And lo and behold, there is that Hipper. Just spotted for a second, and obviously, I do have to be careful with this Hipper. Hipper does have 4 torpedo tubes, 3 torpedoes each. So I do have to be careful, because I don't have a lot of health, and the Lyon only has about 18% torpedo reduction. And good 2 or 3 torpedoes probably could easily kill me, so I do have to play cautiously. And here's probably another, I guess, negative thing you could say about the Lyon versus most of the other tiers. And granted, keep in mind, yes, the Lyon does have 4 guns in front. Most of the other tiers also have 4 guns in front. But the majority of her firepower is going to be whenever you're showing broadside and not when you're going bow N. Yeah, fired a little short there. That was kind of my fault. I thought he was going to be reversing a little bit more back. Obviously, he is going for torpedoes, or else why would he reverse around the corner of the island broadside to me? Yep, torpedoes. Fortunately, kind of predicted that, kind of figured that was going to happen. Hipper does have another set on the other side, but that does mean he has to get turned around. And let's see, can we at least get some shots off? Yeah, trying to kind of trick that right there, and we actually get 2 penetrations, do about 3,196 points of damage, and he is alive on 698 points of health. Yikes. Very close to killing him. Now I am obviously taking my time because he more than likely is trying to get torpedoes off once again. But unfortunately for me, I have no way to spot him, and he has a way to spot me. Now I have probably lost quite a substantial amount of AA, but should be able to get maybe this plane shot down. And yeah, that was kind of bad shot on my part there. Yep, there are the torpedoes. They are 6-kilometer range, and now that we know the torpedoes have been fired, it's going to be a little bit safer to actually start pushing this Hipper. It is possible his starboard tubes are reloaded, but he's obviously not trying to go for the torpedo tubes. Instead is obviously trying to get away, but can we finish him off? There we go. There we go. Our 3rd kill, and that is essentially going to be game. The tier 9 has ran away, and there's only about 2.5 minutes left on the clock, and we have started capturing the sea cap. So we are going to be ahead in points, and overall, not a bad game. I just really enjoyed the very beginning of it. That was a really fun bit, and I love the Hipper's comment in chat. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the victory screen. So our team earned a victory. We brought home 323,385 silver, 7,564 XP, 2 devastating strikes, dreadnought, and first blood. Did almost 100k damage. If we maybe got 1 or 2 more hits on the LCS, maybe we would have broken that 100k, but not bad for a stock in a tier 9 battle. 6 citadels, 62 shell hits, 3 kills, 1 fire, and 2 secondary hits. We were second on the team with a base XP of 1,954. Donskoy, we did almost 31,194 points of damage. Algerie, 22,000. Hipper, around 4,000. And the tier 9 at around 26,000. So, not a bad battle. Main guns definitely did most of the work. Our secondaries only did a little bit, and we only got a little bit of damage from the fire. But with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into the port. I will see you guys there. Alright, welcome back to the port, and I will have to say, I do like the Lyon, just because it's stupid crazy having 16 guns. But as I will say, the Lyon is very similar to the Normandy in a lot of ways. So if you understand how to play the Normandy, you'll do fine with the Lyon. So that's pretty much going to be the quickest way to actually talk about it. Let's go ahead and start off with survivability for the stock Lyon. You get 46,000. Honestly, not the best thing in the world. You do get it obviously upgraded, but the French battleships tend to have a little bit less health than most of the main lines. That's including obviously the USN, IGN, and German mainline. So health pool is not always the greatest. Yes, it is stock, so Not much you can really do about that. Armor layout, honestly, the armor is still fairly bad. You will have still 22 millimeters, a little bit thicker than the Normandy, but it's not a lot. She is very, very vulnerable showing broadside, and that's the downside of the ship, is the fact that you have to show broadside just to get all of your guns off. And the guns, like I said, this ship, for her tier, actually from the main line, any line, has the most amount of guns on a ship at once. The guns themselves are the exact same guns as the Normandy. So the only major difference between the guns is the fact that you have one additional turret with 4 more guns. That's the only real major difference. 30-second reload time. Turn times on the guns is 100 for 180 degrees is 40 seconds. Max HE damage is 4,700 with a 26% fire chance. AP damage is the exact same as the Normandy, 9,500. Range is 16.9, which is not bad. AP velocity is 700 meters per second. And HE velocity is 921 meters per second. So guns are exact same as Normandy. There's no difference in caliber, no difference in damage, and they use the same shell types as the Normandy uses. So don't expect to be starting to be able to citadel most battleships. Cruisers, on the other hand, as you did see there, you definitely can wreck a cruiser. The Lyon does have actually decent amount of secondaries. Actually, I really shouldn't say decent amount. She has large caliber secondaries. She has 4 dual 130 millimeters. They have a 5-second reload time, 1900 points of max HE damage, 9% fire chance, and 6.3 kilometer range. Now you could obviously buff this up a little bit, going for secondary modules, but honestly for the Lyon, I would not say it's really worth it. Then she does have 4 quadruple 130 millimeters, 5-second reload time, 1900 points of damage, 9% fire chance, and 6.3 kilometer range. So she does have a decent amount. She actually has about 24 guns. So I mean, they are big caliber guns. They are essentially destroyer guns on the side of the battleship. So overall, not bad, but nothing I would say to rely on. Moving on to the AA defense. Pretty good. A lot better than the Normandy by far. It has a rating of 61. You have 12 dual 13.2 millimeters. They have average damage of 42 with a 1.4 kilometer range. Then you have 6 quadruple 13.2 millimeters. They have an average damage of 30 with a 1.4 kilometer range. Then you have 6 dual 25 millimeter. Average damage is 34 with a 3.7 kilometer range. Then you have 20 dual 37 millimeters. Average damage is 46 with a 3.6 kilometer range. And then your secondaries offer additional assistance, 34 6.2 kilometer and 49 6.2 kilometers. So AA is not bad. Definitely a lot better than the Normandy. Normandy, if you remember, had very minimal, and you'd be hard-pressed just to shoot down planes. Stock version of the Lyon's AA is decent. Once you get her upgraded to the B-hull, just increases the amount of damage, and I do run AFT on this captain to increase the firing range of your manual or your AA guns. So extremely beneficial. Moving on to the maneuverability. She's actually a little bit different from the stock version of the Normandy. She's actually a little bit slower even once fully upgraded. 26.9 knots. Still fairly decent for a tier 7. It's very similar to how the Nagato is. Gneisenau is a little bit quicker. Let's actually look. It's been a little while. I don't even have the Gneisenau. 30 knots for the Scharnhorst. It's very similar to the Scharnhorst, if not the same. Turning circle radius is 700 meters, which is decent. For a battleship, she is kind of short, fat, and squat. But one major thing I will have to say about the ship is that she has obviously quite a bit of superstructure. And let's actually, I know I'm quickly jumping back. But as you can see, there is quite a bit of superstructure that cruisers can hit and catch on fire. So it is very dangerous for you. You do have to keep in mind HE shells are very damning for the Lyon. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to the rate of shift time, it is slow, 19.8 seconds. So definitely not the best, but it's a stock version. Detectability range, 13.2 kilometers. Not bad for stock, and once you have the upgraded gun range, it's actually fairly decent. While firing in smoke, 15.2 kilometers. Not that you're going to be using that very often, but concealment's not the worst thing in the world. So just be thankful for that. Moving on to the upgrades, nothing really has changed. Like I said, you can possibly go for auxiliary armaments mod 1, as well as getting AA guns mod 2. So keep that in mind. Or sorry, secondary battery modification 2, if you want to buff the secondary guns on the Lyon. Honestly, don't really recommend it. Moving on to the captain, last but not least. He's still being worked on, and I'm really debating on whether I want to focus on a secondary build for my captain, especially for the Richelieu, the Alsace, and the Republique. I don't know if I want to focus on a secondary build. Time will tell, and I will eventually figure this out once I get up there. But for the basics, I enjoy priority target. It's always nice to know. You could obviously go for preventative maintenance to decrease the risk of incapacitation of modules. Beneficial for you. You can go for expert marksman. Actually, no. Do go for expert marksman. If you have the special captain, he does increase the turret traverse by 1 degree instead of 0.5. Normally, I would also recommend Adrenaline Rush. Very beneficial to have. Superintendent, Concealment Expert, Advanced Firing Training at the very least. You could obviously buff your AA if you want. That increases the damage by 20%. You could obviously go... Actually, highly recommend Fire Prevention, just to reduce the chance of fire, as well as reducing the number of spots available on your ship to be set on fire. So that's an option you go with as well. Anyways, this is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zaijian.